Yeah.
Welcome back to the Gridiron Expert. The Fiesta Bowl features the first team that was left out of the college football playoff and another team that was inches away from getting in. Number 9 Oklahoma State takes on number 5 Notre Dame, guys, in a game that is intriguing for so many different reasons, not just because of those two storylines, kind of how the season ended for both the Cowboys and the Fighting Irish, but also the fact that this will mark Notre Dame's first game with Marcus Freeman as their brand new head coach. So a lot of storylines, a lot of headlines surrounding this Fiesta Bowl in a game where both these teams match up very well against one another. So we're here to break down everything you need to know for this Fiesta Bowl, guys, and of course going to share our official prediction for who will get their 12th win of the season and carry lots of momentum into 2022. So again, guys, welcome back to the Gridiron Expert. As always, make sure to continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos, and of course, check out everything down in the description below. If you want the spread pick for this Fiesta Bowl, as well as every other college football bowl game, as well as all the NFL playoff games, and a handful of NFL regular season games, that are left, of course, you need to sign up for our expert picks over on thegridironexpert.com. The link for that is down in the description below. It's a low one-time fee that will last you an entire year. So if you sign up now, you get it all the way through 2022, and you're going to win there. You're going to win with our picks because we've beat out over 80% of the national analysts each of the last 3 years. We're doing it again right now. So make sure to take advantage of that, guys. Join our team. Start winning today only at thegridironexpert.com. So let's just go ahead and jump right on in to this Fiesta Bowl, guys. And I want to start on offense. And we have a lot to talk about for both teams here. But we're going to start with Oklahoma State, the team that was just a few inches away from making the college football playoff, falling just short, literally, to Baylor in the Big 12 championship game. You know, the Cowboys offensively, they are not crazy electric. We have seen better Oklahoma State offenses under Mike Gundy. But this is an efficient offense. This is an efficient offense that gets the job done. 30.6 points per game, over 220 passing yards per game, over 180 rushing yards per game. They're efficient, they're balanced, they move the ball well, and they can put points up on the board. And let's keep in mind, they've done all this with a healthy Spencer Sanders. You know, early in the year, he was, kind of injury-riddled, a little bit injury-riddled last year, but he's maintained his health for the majority of this season, and in doing so has thrown for over 2,400 yards and 16 touchdowns. So he's played well. He's done relatively well. The key right now, as of this video, is to hope that Jaylen Warren, the star running back for Oklahoma State, will be playing in this game. As of now, it appears that he will be. He has rushed for over 1,100 yards and 11 touchdowns, so a major reason for the 181.2 rushing yards per game that the Cowboys are averaging. There are 2 points I want to point out with Oklahoma State's offense, though, neither of which are the best in the world. The first one is the fact that Oklahoma State has only eclipsed the 30-point mark 5 times this year. They've played 13 games. They've hit at least 30 points 5 times. But let's look at those numbers a little deeper, and you realize that 4 of those 5 times came against teams with losing records at the end of the year. You know, a team like TCU, a team like Kansas, guys like that. The only team they did it with a winning record was Oklahoma, Bedlam. So 4 of the 5 teams where they put over 30 points on, they had losing records at the end of the year. That's not great. Notre Dame obviously does not. They're 11-1. They have a very good defense. The second thing, Oklahoma State struggles to take care of the football. They've got to cut down on the turnovers. They had 4 turnovers versus Baylor in that Big 12 championship. They had 10 turnovers in their final 5 games. So they're averaging about 2 a game, and that's just in their final 5. They've been throwing the ball away left and right. Spencer Sanders has 12 interceptions on the year. They've got to do a better job of holding on to the ball because a team like Notre Dame will make them pay for it. When you look at Notre Dame and their offense, the bigger storyline to look at here is the fact they're going to be without their running back in Kyren Williams. Rushed for over 1,000 yards and 14 touchdowns. Led the Fighting Irish to an average of 152.3 rushing yards per game. He's done. He's not playing. He's opting out for the NFL draft. This is Chris Tyree's time to shine, right? Chris Tyree, the backup running back, his time to shine in replacement of Kyren Williams. But in addition to that, of course, they have Jack Cohn. Jack Cohn, who has kind of seen a resurgence to his career, mediocre during his time at Wisconsin, has thrived at Notre Dame, leading a passing offense that's averaging nearly 264 passing yards per game, 35.3 points per game, Cohen has thrown for over 2,600 yards, 20 touchdowns to just 6 interceptions. Like Oklahoma State, I would say Notre Dame knows how to score. I'd say they know how to score a little bit better, a little bit more consistently. Oklahoma State, like we mentioned, hit that 30-point mark just 5 times. Notre Dame has been held to under 27 just once. So they are racking up points, usually in the 30s or 40s. Under 27 just once, and that actually came at home in their lone loss to Cincinnati, who, as we all know, is in the college football playoff and ultimately kept Notre Dame out of the college football playoff. When you look at the defense, go over to Oklahoma State. They have one of the best defenses in the country. I don't think people realize that. As the season progressed, and Oklahoma State, again, being 1 win away from making the playoff, I don't think people realize how good this Cowboys defense was. And the man responsible for that, their defensive coordinator, Jim Knowles, will be coaching his last game with Oklahoma State on January 1st, New Year's Day Fiesta Bowl, the day after he starts as defensive coordinator at Ohio State. How crazy is that? How crazy is that? So he got a big pay raise. He got a bigger, some would say better job. Defensive coordinator at Oklahoma State, now going to be at Ohio State. But the Cowboys guys were allowing just 16.8 points per game. And the key number I'm looking at right here is the fact that they were only allowing 89.2 rushing yards per game. So the question is this: would Kyren Williams have done well anyways? He's the star running back for Notre Dame. Obviously, the Fighting Irish would have loved to have had him. But would he have put up big numbers against this Oklahoma State defense anyways? How big of a role would he have played? How big of a factor would he have played in this Notre Dame offense? Because Oklahoma State has been shutting down opposing rushing attacks left and right. 89.2 rushing yards per game. They do allow 184 passing yards per game, and the bigger number to me is the fact that they pressure the quarterbacks like crazy. The Cowboys guys love to create pressure. Jim Knowles loves to send pressure. 55 sacks on the year for Oklahoma State. 55 sacks, led by the freshman Colin Oliver on that defensive line with 11.5 sacks. So Notre Dame's offensive line has got to find a way to hold up, to give Jack Cohn time to throw, because at the end of the day, guys, the Fighting Irish probably aren't going to have much success on the ground anyways. Whether Kyren Williams was playing or not, I don't expect a big game from Chris Tyree or anybody, which means Jack Cohn's got to stand in the pocket and deliver throw after throw after throw, and he's going to have to do that with a lot of pressure coming his way against one of the best pass rushing teams in the country. Notre Dame, I'll say this: Marcus Freeman, he wasn't promoted for nothing. It was a big deal when Notre Dame took him away from Cincinnati. Notre Dame hired Marcus Freeman away from Cincinnati, where he was defensive coordinator, brought him in as defensive coordinator here in South Bend, where Brian Kelly says, hey, I'm heading down to Baton Rouge. Notre Dame says, all right, come on up. Marcus Freeman, you're the new head man in South Bend. You're our new head coach. Because he did great at Cincinnati, and he did great at Notre Dame. And obviously, if you've seen the reaction video to when he was named the head coach, the players love him. Players love him. They want to play for this man. And why wouldn't you? This defense has been unreal. 18.3 points per game allowed on the year. Just 339.8 total yards per game allowed on the year. Notre Dame's defense has been great this season. They really have. And Marcus Freeman is responsible for that. The Fighting Irish only allow 127.8 rushing yards per game. To me, that's key. Because Oklahoma State wants to run the ball. Yes, obviously they were averaging more passing yards per game. Who doesn't? They want to run the ball, and they want to run it with Jalen Warren. They want to run a little bit with Spencer Sanders. But running the ball is going to be their forte. And Notre Dame does a pretty decent job of shutting that down. And if they can do that, I'm not too concerned about the fact that Notre Dame's giving up over 200 passing yards per game, 212 to be exact. I'm not too concerned with the fact that they're going to be without their star safety in Kyle Hamilton, who has also opted out in preparation for the NFL draft. If Notre Dame stops the run, if they stop Warren, if they stop Sanders, I believe the pass can be stopped. The Fighting Irish have 15 interceptions on the year. They have forced 23 turnovers on the year. We just mentioned how turnover-prone Oklahoma State is, and I believe if they can force just two turnovers off the Cowboys, whether that's interceptions, fumbles, whatever, 2 turnovers, the Fighting Irish can win this game. I believe Spencer Sanders is a decent quarterback. I don't know if he can win the game solely through the air against this defense, especially if Notre Dame can bottle up that run game. And the key for that is going to be holding Oklahoma State to under 150 rushing yards on the day. Easier said than done, but if Notre Dame holds Oklahoma State to under 150 rushing yards on the day, Notre Dame will win this game. Add on to that, if they can force 2 turnovers and capitalize off of one of them, they will win this game. And that's exactly what they're going to do. We are picking Notre Dame to win this Fiesta Bowl. And say what you want, guys. Notre Dame can't win the big games. They couldn't win the big games under Brian Kelly. They couldn't win the big games under previous head coaches. The new era, guys. It is the Marcus Freeman era in South Bend. And yes, it's not a traditional start to one's career. His first ever game as a head coach is going to come in the Fiesta Bowl, not a regular season game, not against a cupcake team, but against the number 9 team in the country in a New Year's 6 bowl game. But even with the opt-outs, even with the coaching change, I believe the motivation is there for Notre Dame. Promoting from within was a brilliant decision by the Fighting Irish. You've got a Notre Dame team that wants to play for Marcus Freeman. They want to win this game. They want to show that, hey, maybe we should have been in the playoff. Even though I don't think it was up for debate, but they got the top 4 right. They say, hey, we wanted our spot, right? But they think they should have been above somebody else. They want to prove a point. Oklahoma State, meanwhile, might still be reeling, down on themselves by being that close to beating Baylor and maybe even slipping in above Cincinnati for that final playoff spot. So I believe the motivation factor plays a huge role here. I believe Marcus Freeman gets this team hyped. They get this team ready to go. I believe Marcus Freeman begins his head coaching career with a win. 1-0, beating a top 10 team in the Fiesta Bowl, giving Notre Dame their first BCS New Year's 6 big bowl game victory, first one since 1993. No better way to kick off the head coaching era. No better way to kick off your head coaching career than the Marcus Freeman era. No better way to show you are the right man for the job than getting this win on New Year's Day. And I believe the Fighting Irish do get it done. So guys, as always, thank you so much for watching us here at the Gridiron Expert on YouTube. Make sure to continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos, and of course, check out everything down in the description below, especially those expert picks over on the gridironexpert.com. If you want the spread pick for this Fiesta Bowl, all the other bowl games, all the NFL playoff games, you need to sign up over there. It's a year-long subscription, and you will win. A year-long subscription, and you will win. So make sure you go take advantage of that. And once again, guys, as always, thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time right here on the Gridiron Expert.